Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Rejuvenate Edition 4. We've got a very, very special guest here today with us, and his name is Pranav Savla. I hope I pronounced that name correctly. Fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. So excited to be here. How are you doing?
Hi, Pranav, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I was
sorry
just
about
saying-
it.
Yeah. I was just saying that I'm doing great, and I'm very excited actually to be here. And how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking, Pranav. And it's really wonderful to have you here with us today. I
Really
do
great to be
apologize. I do get some. I'm getting some back echoes. Yeah, and you know, it is what it is. The machine is also tired after 2 days of Rejuvenate Edition 4. You gotta excuse us. I do apologize.
That's understandable. That's okay.
I believe you are in India at this very moment. What time is it in India?
It is. It's 5:34 currently, so just tea time.
Tea time. So you've got your chai masala with you?
I actually had mine just a while back.
I am so jealous. I am so jealous.
I can get you some. Dunzo is a service that's available here.
And you are in 10th grade. You are
I am.
located in Bangalore, correct?
Yeah, that's actually right.
Amazing. I don't want to go into details, Pranav. Maybe for the benefit of all our audience here today on Rejuvenate, can you give us a background of who you are and you know, what have you been doing?
Yeah, great. So I'm Pranav. I am 15 currently. I study in grade 10 in India. Um, I actually saw my first computer at the age of 7, and I instantly fell in love with it. And just a few years later, 5 to be precise, I started programming. Today, I am a learner in programming. I code mobile and web applications. I also was part of the founding team at an organization called Vidya Drishti. I still stick with them today. Uh, and we help to kind of improve students' writing, but we keep like the entire learning process very easy. Um, I I know quite a bit of Braille, so I started learning in Braille and then eventually moved to the laptop. I just so happened to be blind, born blind with LCA.
Can you repeat that again?
I just so happened to be born blind.
Wow. Pranav, where do I even begin? You talk about programming. I put my hand up and tell you that I have zero skills, zero knowledge in programming, and here you are.
That's okay. Programming is it's something that you should do if you're enjoying it, and it's not like a necessity. So really, it's fine.
This is really amazing, the things you're doing, and the title we have for you below your name is so apt. You know, we call you a tech enthusiast, of course.
I am. That's what I like to call myself as well. Someone who just loves tech.
Amazing. Now for the benefit of everyone, I will ask Pranav before I move on to the conversation with Pranav, of course. Pranav, you are okay for me to ask questions as we move along, especially in terms of your condition and whatnot?
Oh, sure. I'm completely fine with that. I don't see myself as someone who's got a condition as such. I just see myself as someone who's blind. And the way I've looked at it, especially over the past few years, is if I got to live a blind life, so to speak, I got to first accept the fact that I live a blind life and make sure that everyone around me knows the fact that I accept that I live a blind life. And in fact, it's gotten to the point where there are a lot of times when I make like jokes about it, where like I walk into something and I'm like, and if someone asks me, stop, why you walking blindly? And the response that's always ready on my tongue is because I am blind. So I love, it's kind of fun making these kind of cringy, corny jokes about it. So it's completely okay.
Okay, fantastic. Now let's get down to it. I suppose let's start with were you born blind? So you did say you are born blind, correct?
I was, yes, I have been born blind.
And the condition you were saying earlier?
It's called LCA, stands for Leber's congenital amaurosis, and it's basically a condition where the optic nerve is weakened. At least that's my understanding of it. Don't take my word for it. I'm kind of bad at biology.
Okay, so and you've got siblings?
I do. I actually have an older sister who, to be honest, I consider kind of as a friend, and we have a very good relationship, and it's always fun to have her around.
Amazing, amazing, and I'm sure she has been taking very good care of you from when you were a baby.
She has indeed. She's one of the most important people in my life, and it's I don't know how much I'd be able to do without her. The funny part is, as I said, she's now become more of like a friend. The pandemic was a great kind of sort of a glue in some sense, because we transitioned from sort of fighting siblings to people who hardly fight, and these days I don't trust a lot of people more than my sister. So she's a great person, and I don't know what I'd be able to do without her.
Amazing, amazing, and I'm sure she's super proud of you as well in terms of what you've been doing and how you've been embracing all this, and truly I cannot find a better person in terms of closing edition 4, sorry, in terms of celebrating life, because you are the true essence of what the tagline means.
Thanks for that. I always have believed that when you've been given a life to live it to the fullest, you can't do, whether it be your work or people who you connect with, you gotta do work, or at least the way I've always thought of it is, I gotta do work that I love doing, and if I don't love doing something, it at least after a point it somewhat becomes sort of like a torture. So I've always thought of doing work that I love doing and enjoying being in the current moment of my life.
Pranav, now you are 10th grade. You're a 10th grader. You go to school. I suppose give us a perspective of what a daily life is in terms of going to school, navigating classes. Do you go to a special class, or do you mix around with people who are not visually impaired?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question, and I always love answering this question, because actually go to what some people might call a mainstream school, which is basically I think I'm one of the only few blind students in the school that I go to, and there are a lot of there may be students who have sort of other physical disabilities, but for the most part there are students who are so-called completely abled, and they're all of them are my friends. And the wonderful part is that my school has always been sort of a very, very big supporting backbone for me. It's always, the faculty at school, especially a certain Mrs. Nandini Menon, who I dearly call Nandini Auntie. She has been there from the very beginning of my life, and I almost mean that literally, to be honest. And she's always made sure, along with the rest of the school faculty, that navigating school and navigating my own material at school has never been sort of an issue for me. It's always been more of me taking the knowledge in rather than trying to work my brain on taking the knowledge in, if you kind of understand what I mean there. So
Yeah.
navigation, I use a cane every day, which is, well, to put it bluntly, it's a stick. that has a rubber grip on it. And I use that to move around. So I basically just hit other things with it to get to know what the other thing is. To be honest, it's quite fun, and the cane has multiple uses. So I'm sure you can think of the other uses that the cane might have.
I'm really in awe, to be honest, with how you speak so eloquently of your condition. Again, I do apologize if I use the word condition, because you did say you don't see it as a condition. I'm truly in awe of that. I am in amazement. In fact, I actually want to ask you this. Did someone help you to set up the Zoom call that we're having here today, or did you pretty much whip up your own laptop and got online yourself?
Well, I am able to use my laptop, and in fact, joining the Zoom meeting was no problem for me. I do it quite a bit. So I was able to connect to the call on my own. However, the help that I did need, and in fact, I have my mom to thank for this, was making sure that my face is visible in the frame, and that things like my background and my shirt were properly ironed out and stuff. So huge kudos to my mom there. I would not be able to do all that without her.
Thank you, Auntie, for doing all that.
Yeah, she's watching right now.
Fantastic. Again, I suppose again, perhaps on my part, when we got in touch, obviously it was through messaging over on LinkedIn, for example. How do you manage that? And also, being on Clubhouse, for example, how do you navigate through the buttons? Because even with someone who could see where all the buttons were, people were struggling in terms of which button is for what function and stuff like that.
Very good question, and I think if the execution of this is done rightly, blind people kind of have an advantage here, because we have what's called screen readers, which, well, I guess the best description is they read the screen out. So they read everything that's on the screen, and we can navigate the screen using them. It's a synthesized voice. And the cool part is that if the interface is accessible, so to speak, so if it has labels for the particular buttons, we actually get to know what the function for each button is. For example, in Clubhouse, the mute button is literally labeled as mute. It's spoken to us. And on LinkedIn, the edit field, right, where we got to type, that is actually labeled as type your message edit box. And that's the cool thing, because a lot of these big corporations are investing in accessibility, and these assistive technologies are sort of my figurative window, so to speak, into the world of tech, into my applications. And I wouldn't be able to function without them, but thankfully they are around, and that's how I'm able to use LinkedIn and Clubhouse and even Zoom for that matter.
Amazing. And how long did it take you perhaps to I'm sure it's self-taught.
Actually, somewhat. That's where I'd like to kind of expound on a little. I was, as I said, first introduced to a computer and assistive technology when I was 7 by Nandini auntie. She taught me how to type. And then from there, it was basically curiosity taking me forward. I learned about a mobile device when I was 10, pretty much by accident, actually. I stumbled over a setting called VoiceOver with my parents on an iPhone. And then I started using it, and I figured out what it was. And in fact, I think I still have my first laptop at home, which is a very old Windows XP. It turns 20 actually this year. So it's quite cool, to be honest. And I wouldn't want to carry it around anywhere because it's so heavy. But I wouldn't be able to. Currently, everything that I learn, most of it at least, is self-taught. But I wouldn't be able to learn a lot of things without the help of faculty at school. Also, the way I look at it, really nothing is self-taught per se. By self-taught, I've always seen the definition thrown around for things like reading someone's code on Stack Overflow. But really, those people are teaching the things to you, and you're gaining knowledge. So the way I look at the word self-taught is either everything is self-taught because you are choosing to accept the knowledge, and really at the same time nothing is self-taught because you're not there is no voice inside you that's telling you how to do something. So you need to entail help from outside, and I've always found it very important to keep that in mind when I thank my lucky stars before going to bed.
Oh, wow, wow. You know, at every point that I'm asking you something and at every point you are responding to me, whoa, I just feel this gush of amazement. Truly, truly. Now, the audience are able to see, obviously, there's a logo right next to your name. And it has the words there, Vidya Drishti. What exactly is it? Please tell us.
Sure, I'd love to. Thanks for bringing that up. And this might actually lead down a pretty deep rabbit hole, but it's a story I think people should know. Vidya Drishti is an organization that I helped found last year, and this is basically we help students, and well, we believe anyone's a student really. So we help students to improve their writing, because the way we look at it is in today's day, communicating through words is very integral. It's very important, and we believe that when someone does it via interest, they learn the most. So we help students to write better, but also we allow them to kind of choose we don't enforce a certain path on them. We give them options to choose how they want to learn. So do they want to learn by practicing writing on a website? Do they want to learn by following events, or do they want to learn by attending competitions, or do they want to kind of make a concoction out of all of them? And the interesting part actually is how Vidya Drishti began. It was actually quite by accident, and I remember this is actually engraved into my head quite. So this is last year. It started as a creative writing class by my mentor and very good friend, Mr. Subramani Lakshmi, who is a journalist. And he was teaching 3 students, including me, creative writing. And this was 6 months into the class. And we were just discussing on ways to, just for the 3 of us, make a Book of the Month voting poll. Me being the sort of tech nerd or / geek that I am, I said, wouldn't it be better rather than putting the names on WhatsApp that I just code a website? And I clearly remember that one moment where he just stayed silent and he's like, let's open to the public. And 2 hours later, Vidya Drishti was formed. So it was quite a fun accident, and I'm quite thankful to everyone for that accident to happen.
Mind blown. I mean, if anyone who is watching right now who is not mind blown, I don't know which planet you come from, because I'm absolutely mind blown by Pranav. Now, you mentioned your mentor. I think he's a familiar name. I've also been into rooms where he has spoken on Clubhouse before, and I think we do share a couple of similar rooms that we frequent in Clubhouse. Now,
wow, that's very interesting. I should talk to him about this.
Sorry, can you say that again?
I just said I should talk to him about this tomorrow.
And I'm sure he have seen. Well, I'm sure he knows we have crossed paths before in that sense. Now, you obviously are into building websites and whatnot. In Malaysia, just to put things into context, a lot of students as well today, as young as you especially, with the skill sets that they have in terms of digital skills, have also been having side hustles and whatnot. Have you been doing that as well?
Sorry? Side hustles?
Yeah, do you have a part-time, so to speak, job?
Oh,
in that sense?
No, actually. So the thing is, I actually joined an internship in April, and just because of the way that I like working, I stopped enjoying it just a few days later. Then I kind of resigned because I didn't want to do something that I didn't really enjoy and break my head over it with the other things that I was also doing. So I do not actually earn as such, But I do make projects on my own. I upload them to the Google Play Store. Vidya Drishti is something that I would say it's not a job as such. It's something that I love doing. And I have a lot of other side projects that I do as well, including YouTube, where I review tech that I enjoy using.
It's funny that you brought up YouTube and reviewing, and that is exactly the next question I really want to segue into. You review tech stuff that you use, correct?
Yeah.
Now, can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Right. So it started out by me watching a lot of tech channels. I don't know how many of you are familiar with them, but there's this really awesome guy. I mean, there's a channel called Mr. Who's the Boss, run by a wonderful fellow called Arun Maini, who runs his tech channel, and I just love the way, I just love the entire, concept of it. And so I decided, I'm going to try to do it on my own, right? And again, without my sister and my mom's help, this wouldn't have been possible. They helped me record a lot of things. And there's another friend that I'd like to give a shout out to. His name is Govin, and he stays in the United States. The number of times he's woken up at 5 a.m. in the morning to help me edit videos or to script videos is amazing. I wouldn't be able to do that if I were him. And so without these few people, I wouldn't be able to run my channel. But thanks to them, I am able to review tech. So I review things like microphones, headphones, and I think I reviewed a laptop as well in the past.
Amazing. And what's your YouTube channel called?
It's called Tech with Phoenix. However, it's not big enough to show up in search results. You can go to youtube.com/c/Tech with Phoenix. That's my channel URL.
We will share that in a post this interview, and make sure that people will get over to your YouTube channel, because I believe it deserves to be big enough, like you said, to be able to get on the search when you search it on YouTube. Amazing.
I really appreciate that.
Now, we spoke about how you've been using tech, how you've been reviewing tech. I want to get into a little bit more of, what most 15-year-olds, boys especially, I suppose, love doing, which is sports. Now, may not be too right for me to say this, but do you follow sports?
Yes, I love watching sport and playing some of them as well. In fact, if it wasn't for the pandemic, I'd spend my summer playing a certain sport called blind cricket with my friends downstairs. I watch a lot of cricket, and I'll get into blind cricket in just a sec. I'll watch a lot of cricket. Sure. I started when I was 9, and I love some key players. Virat Kohli is one of my favorite. There's A.B. de Villiers, and I also love watching Chris Gayle hit shots out of the park when he's at his peak. The commentary does a wonderful job there, so kudos to those guys in there. Wouldn't be able to watch it without them, and just the way that they describe every single shot is amazing.
Wow, I was just about to ask, how do you even follow it? So you are obviously very dependent on the commentary, correct?
Yes, I am quite dependent. Commentary, and also this is a subtle thing, but sometimes hearing what the connection between bat and ball, or the connection between the bat and stumps. The crowd also helps, so if they cheer, I know that the shot has been good. And the final two things are, this is actually quite easy to hear if you pay attention. The footsteps of the players when they're running, and finally the shouts from players, right? When they're trying to catch or trying to get to the other side. Those are clues that really help me gauge, in some sense, what's going on during the match.
Amazing. Now, obviously, that's cricket. Before we get into blind cricket, which you will, in a way, give us a feel of what it is, what other sports do you follow?
I actually follow badminton, which is quite easy to follow again, because you can just hear the cork being hit from one side to the other. I also follow quite a bit of kabaddi, which
kabaddi.
yeah, it's a lot of fun to watch, and again the commentators do a wonderful job there. Finally, I watch quite a bit of hockey actually. Uh,
Hmm.
there is a league in India called I think it's called the Premier Hockey League. I forget the exact name, but it's awesome to watch that, and it's just fun to watch players battle it out there. I do also watch some chess. Not it doesn't exactly come on TV these days, but I watch it quite a bit on YouTube, and I love Magnus Carlsen.
I'm sure you do. He is a top player for sure.
He is. It's so refreshing to watch him just play.
That's right.
It's
Now,
wonderful.
blind cricket, you were talking about that before I segue into an additional question. How exactly do you do that?
Yeah, it's a very interesting question. I think a lot of people actually don't know about it, and I think it's important to know that. Blind cricket is it's basically cricket with most of the rules, except for a few things that I'll kind of point out here. These are over the top of my head. So the first one is the ball is actually a white plastic ball with ball bearings, and it's bowled underarm, so it's in some senses pitched close to the ground or rolled. Um, the 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 team usually has there are three categories: B1, which are totally blind; B2 is partially blind; and B3 is almost fully sighted. And the team has to have an equal composition of these three categories. The stumps are actually made out of metal, so as to distinguish the sound of the bat striking ball and the ball striking wicket. And any batsman has to be LBW twice, and a fully blind batsman cannot be stumped, and they have to have by runners to run for them. And those are basically the same. Those are all the rules, really. Apart from that, it's just cricket, and all the formats of cricket are actually followed. So those are the only differences.
Wow, wow. I have you ever videoed a blind cricket game?
Yes, I didn't exactly video an entire one, but there are quite a few available online, and actually there's this YouTube channel called Braillemate, for which I did a short video of me just playing few shots and bowling a few deliveries, and doing some fielding, and you can find that on the channel called Braillemate on YouTube, where I did this thing. So I have done a short one, but you can actually find some match highlights to see more of what goes on YouTube as well.
I've taken down note. This would be my weekend viewing, and thank you so much, because you are at every sentence that you make, you are making me learn new things and open my eyes to a world that I'm so ashamed to say I've never seen before.
The same's gone for me, especially over the past few days.
Amazing, amazing. I wish I could read out every single comment that I'm seeing here right now. That everyone has been dropping bombs of amazing comments for you, Pranav. You are definitely an amazing person. You have a whole community of supporters here, and is really awesome. So proud to see you here. Keep it up, Pranav. Amazing, Pranav. Always inspiring to listen to you. Love your confidence. Great going. Very happy to see you like this. So confident. Much support to you. Great going.
I'd just like to thank all of you guys who are writing in. It really is. In fact, I messaged Andrew yesterday saying that it's really all of this. Seeing that I'm able to make some sort of impact and help the next generation of people do better than I can do is my driving force and what pushes me to do better.
Wow. No, I want to get into a little bit about what you do. Obviously, you are interested in tech. We know that for sure. I suppose I'm just perhaps thinking ahead, maybe 5, maybe 10 years from now. Is there something you want to achieve? I know you just mentioned what you just said, right? making the next generation better and so that they live a better life as well. But is there a particular thing that you want to work on?
I really believe AI is something that drives a lot of things. So I want to make sure, in some shape or form, that I at least play a small role in helping the next generation of people live a life that's easier and that makes them focus on their own work without having to worry about certain other kind of unnecessary necessities. And that's something that I want to work on. The other thing is teaching. Teaching has been something that's very close to my heart. I taught my first course last year, which is called RN50, and I really, really loved it. And at some point in my life, I would love to teach a class or even do some personal tutoring, because it's something that gives me a lot of satisfaction just to see that I'm seeing in front of me someone's life improve, and them actually doing better to help other people improve. It forms somewhat of a chain. So that's what I want to do.
Pranav, if ever I know of anyone who wants to look for a motivational speaker or even someone in tech to be teaching other kids in terms of tech knowledge and stuff like that, I will definitely put your name in the front of the list, and you would come highly recommended from me for sure.
Would love that. That's really appreciated. Thank you.
Amazing, amazing. Now, we spoke about all that. I want to just touch a little bit on, of course you are very inclined to tech and digital skills and whatnot. What do you think the level of it is in school in India, in schools in schools in India? Sorry.
A very good question, and I think as the world keeps digitizing, and the pandemic has surely played a huge role in catalyzing this, it's more and more important to be aware of the tech that you use and the tech that you should be using in some sense. And in some senses also how that tech works to a very, even if it's a very superficial level, right? I think schools are doing a good job of this, but in some senses I've noticed, this is not everywhere, but in some senses that I've noticed that somewhere some sort of improvement could be made in terms of making students understand the concept. So what I've always believed, and I've always tried to tell people, is rather than understanding, for example, a programming language, it would be better and easier to understand the concepts of things like how does a conditional statement work, what happens if a certain thing's fired, and that's very important. The other thing I think a lot of schools, not only in India but in a lot of countries, would help from would benefit from doing is to include some sort of accessibility course. More and more, as I said, the world is digitizing. More people start going on that, and accessibility becomes a very important tool, because at its very core, accessibility is really just making sure that you're not biased to any particular community, right? You're making sure that your product works the same across every single community. And thanks to my mentors, I was able to learn it at the very beginning of my programming journey. And I think it's very important to include that in curriculum, so that people who are looking to program know about it, and also people who are not looking to program as users know that these tools exist when the time comes. For example, if they can't look at the screen as such for certain reasons, they might be able to just use the screen reader, or if they're on a bus or public transport and can't really listen to a video, closed captioning and live captioning is very useful in that case, right? Finally, if they have temporary glasses, even having the higher resolution text would be helpful. So it's very important for the user and the programmer to know that these sort of tools exist.
Wow, you just blown me away again with that whole explanation. It is, again, like I said, at every sentence I'm learning something new from you that I've never seen it in that perspective, and I truly thank you for for being kind enough to share all this with me and with our audience here today as well. Fantastic.
I loved it. I was eagerly looking forward to this because it's just so much fun talking to you and talking to everyone out here. And I can't wait to make. I'm sure I'll be making some very, very important connections from here, talking to a lot of new people, and that's the whole fun of life because I get to meet, as someone said, on average throughout my life, 10,000 people, and when you look at that, that's a huge number. So that's the exciting thing about even coming here because I get to meet so many new people.
Fantastic. Pranav, I suppose I want to ask you, what would be your main advice, I suppose, for kids who are in school today, perhaps someone your age, perhaps younger than you, perhaps right about to graduate and get into the workforce? What sort of advice you have for that age group? And then I want you to segue into people who are a little bit more grown up. Perhaps, like you said, it's the pandemic. A lot of people are struggling with work, with life. Do you have any words of encouragement?
It's a very good question and quite interesting. I think for students, what I'd like to say from my personal experience is that do study, but also equally important is do something that you enjoy doing. It's very important, at least I've noticed, to make sure you do that, and make sure that every one thing I've noticed for myself, and this has helped me a lot, is to also celebrate the small achievements, especially when you're younger, because the small achievements are what actually concoct the bigger achievements in your own life. So celebrate the fact that you got an A on your test. Or for example, if you weren't able to, I'll get back to cricket here, score 100 runs, celebrate the fact that you at least scored 50 or 80 or even 25. Celebrate the fact that you at least were able to get yourself onto that pitch. Those small achievements I'd like to mention, it's very important celebrating it, because if you ever fail, and this has happened to me a few times, at something that's a little bigger, or if you miss an opportunity that's bigger, it won't devastate you as much, and you'll be able to get back up. For adults, and really this advice from me really applies to everyone. Do what you feel passionate about. Don't be afraid to take risks, because if you don't take risks, you won't be able to, at least from my perspective, reach the higher goal. And don't be afraid to fail at them. I failed a lot of times, especially in these past few years, and every failure is I always like to tell people, Thomas Edison conducted 1,000 failed experiments, but we don't remember them because the 1,001st was the light bulb. And so every failed attempt is bringing you closer to success in some sense. My penultimate advice would be, don't try to fall back on something. Whenever you're applying for university or really anything, we always get told, make sure you have something to fall back on. But I've never really got that concept for myself. I always thought, if I want to fall, I'd rather fall forward, because I'll at least see what I'm going to hit, right? If I fall back, I'm always just going to see the ceiling or the sky above me. But if I fall forward, I'll at least see what I'm going to hit, and I'll at least see what I got to defeat in the next 5 seconds. My final piece of advice is, there is nothing that you have done that's more important than the fact that you are alive. There's nothing in your life that's more important than your life. And so what's always helped me when I have hit so-called rock bottom is the fact that rock bottom doesn't exist. Rock bottom, at least for me, is something where you can't get up from, really, right? Because when you, or at least, the really rock bottom, according to me, is when you die. when you can't get up from that, right? That's the only way you will not be able to get up. So every failure, well, at least know that in every single failure, that everything's not lost. You've not hit rock bottom, and there's always a way to get back up. Just believe in what you are, believe in your gut, and believe, just trust that things will just work out in the end.
You know, I in previous sessions today and obviously yesterday during the first day, I did warn everyone. I said the last session with Pranav is one session you will not want to miss. And I am so glad that I delivered it in that sense, you know, and I hope everyone who listened to me earlier and stayed on to catch your session today is mind blown as much as me, Pranav, because your way of life, your way of thinking is extraordinary.
I'd like to mention one more thing that actually just crossed my mind. It's the fact
Go
that
ahead.
never really stop learning. The whole prospect of learning to me has always been a very important thing, because one of my mentors, as she rightfully said, you succeed when you help others succeed. So really never stop learning and never stop trying to help others, because that's, at least for me, has always been the greatest satisfaction of my life, that I've been able to, I've at least witnessed someone do better at something than they did in 5 seconds ago. And while we're on that, there is no bigger competition for you than you yourself. Think of yourself as like, you know, a software with different versions, right? And you got to compete with versions that are prior to yourself. So the way I look at it is, try to make yourself better than yourself. Yourself 5 seconds ago, yourself from 5 seconds after yourself from now is already better than yourself right now. And that's what I actually told my students when I started the course last year. I said, you know, try to see yourself and look back at, you know, how you were in week 0 from week 12, and then see, have you won against yourself? That's very important, and it's always helped me out. So that's what I just wanted to mention.
Wow. Now, very quickly, Pranav, is there something that you're working on in the immediate future that you would like to share, or something that is a little bit more midterm in that sense? Is there anything exciting at all?
Vidya Drishti is what I'd like to say, because Vidya Drishti is something that, you know, I keep getting new ideas and trying to build them in. In fact, incidentally, we've got a write-a-thon coming up. I may have shared that with you, Andrew. We've got a write-a-thon actually coming up just in a few days, which is actually a few weeks, which is basically you got 1 week and you got to write the best piece you can. And there's a lot of new stuff that'll come up there. And as things come up, I always keep posting it on LinkedIn and other platforms. So you can, you know, be sure to just check me out there, because I love doing small projects, you know, from now and then. If I just get an idea sitting around, I just try to implement it, and that's what I do. Also, you can take a look at my GitHub profile. That's at github.com/pranav435, and you'll find a lot of the stuff that I do there. That's like it's like my testing test field, because if something doesn't work out, I know that people are not going to penalize me there.
Great. So again, just to remind everyone, you know, head to the platform rejuvenatemind.com. If you have not caught whatever Pranav was mentioning, go to the speaker section under Who's Talking, get into Pranav's bio, and you will be able to see all the methods in which you can get in touch with Pranav, and I'm sure he'll be happy to receive, you know, whether it's a connection request, whether it's you dropping a message to him to ask a specific question or whatnot. Is that right, Pranav?
Yeah, sure. I'd love even if someone wants to just say hi, I'd love that. I mean, it would be so great to meet you all, especially since I can't, you know, I'm not in a physical space where I'd love to meet you all, where I would shake your hand, which I'd love to do. And so I, to be honest, one thing that I'm going to be taking away from here is connections. and meeting new people. And that's what I'm looking to do. So if you feel like talking to me, don't hesitate. I love talking to people.
This is great. And with that, Pranav, we have come to the end of our session. It is a real joy and real privilege on our end in Rejuvenate edition 4 to have hosted you, to have had you on the show, to have spoken to you, and to have listened to your inspiring story. I'm truly grateful. I'm very grateful that you've agreed to come on board and do this with us, because I think your story needs to be heard. Your stories need to be shared to the world, and I'm just happy to be the medium to spread that story out for everyone.
I am in turn grateful for actually meeting you on LinkedIn and getting this wonderful opportunity to be here. I didn't really think about this at all, just a few months ago, and now I've been able to get the wonderful chance to meet so many people here. So, and as I was actually telling Andrew just a while back, you've got yourself a new regular visitor at Rejuvenate, because I absolutely love the work that you guys are doing, and I'm so excited to see what you guys come up with in just a few months. So I'll be attending your kind of sessions every month, and I can't wait to see what you guys have come up with. And,
Thank you.
and on
Thank
that
you.
note, I'd also like to thank everyone who's watched, who's in some sense put up with me. You've made it so far, and it couldn't have done it without you guys too.
Amazing. And with that, I would also like to take the opportunity to thank all our speakers from day one. As you can see from the screen here today, we've got fantastic, amazing speakers that we have hosted throughout the 2 days of Rejuvenate Edition 4. We kick-started our entire program with the amazing Melissa Indot from Intuitive Music Programming. You have also might have heard her today as she hosted a session with her Being Curious and Fearless club members on Clubhouse, Carly, Desiree, as well as Patricia. Thank you to the three of you for making so much time for all of us. Carly is, of course, in the UK, Patricia is in the Philippines, and Desiree is in KL. We also had Cheryl and Fernando, as well as Samuel Isaiah from Pemimpin GSL on day one. Amazing, amazing educators and making Malaysia proud, flying our flag high in the global stage. We had Philip Liu as well from the National Sports Institute, who spoke about, having a champion mindset and shared a lot about what he does in terms of his work with elite athletes and preparing them for national and international tournaments. We had Brian Pang, who was obviously in Vancouver and I'm so grateful that he spent his early morning with us. And of course, he is from Electronic Arts, and his work in terms of, it ranges from diversity, equality, and inclusivity is really amazing. Besma is our first ever guest from North Africa. She is based in Tunisia, and she is really championing women in a tech role and a real leader in every sense. And this morning we hosted William Jackson as well as Aida Jackson, both husband and wife who are in the US, who are amazing, seasoned educators as well. And then we spoke to Dini. Oh, whoa, what a dynamite. DiniFlix.com. I mean, if you guys have not checked her out or you guys have not checked her session, please do so, because she is truly amazing, inspiring. Pranav was sharing about how you fall and you fall and find that reason to get up again. And Dini is truly the essence of that, really. And right before this session earlier, we also hosted Amelia Tan of the 100% Project. as well as Siobhan Hassan, our favorite life coach, speaker, and mental health advocate, who does amazing work. You've got to check her out as well, and you know, get to know her better. You will truly fall in love with her and the work that she does. So Edition 4, once again, brought to you in collaboration with Intuitive Music Programming, as well as Being Curious and Fearless. And I truly want to thank all of you for making it such an amazing edition. Pranav, I suppose it's time for dinner now, right, for you?
Yeah, just about an hour to go.
Yeah. So I hope you have a good dinner. I've had an amazing chat with you. I do hope we keep in touch. I will definitely be keeping an eye on what you are going to be up to. And of course, Vidya Drishti, keep sending me those things. I will share it out, you know, to my network as much as I can, and help spread the word and anything that you guys are doing.
Thank you so much. And I've had an absolute wonder talking to you as well. And I really want to talk to you more, keep in touch with you. And you're a great guy. And the work that you do along with the entire Rejuvenate team is absolutely stellar and wonderful.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of Edition 4. Please come back and visit again. We are here every month, and next month we are going to be coming to you live on the 28th and 29th of October, and it's all about reigniting the passion. What is that about? You have got to follow us on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and on our website, and you will get to know what we're going to be up to in the month of October. And with that, I bid you farewell. Pranav, see you again. Take care.
See you again. Take
Stay
care
safe.
Too. You too. And hope to see you down the road.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye.